Kenyiso Mareti is a rich company owner who built his empire with strict rules and a hard heart. He trusts numbers more than people and thinks struggle comes from weak effort. Each morning he walks past the same street, eyes forward, surrounded by glass, guards, and silence. On one early day, as cars stop and workers hurry, a very slim young girl steps near him. Her clothes are worn, yet her back is straight. She does not stretch out a hand or cry. She speaks calmly, asking for a chance to exchange effort for a meal. And that quiet courage freezes him where he stands. Curiosity replaces anger. In front of staff and watchful security, he gives her a cruel challenge meant to chase her away. She must finish a full day of exhausting duties without reward unless she completes everything. Laughter ripples through the crowd. The girl accepts without fear. Hours pass. She scrubs floors, lifts heavy loads, organizes papers, and moves until her legs shake. Sweat runs, arms ache, and eyes burn, yet her face stays focused. When she stumbles, she rises. When mocked, she keeps going. She never asks again. At midday, Kenyiso overhears her speaking softly to a janitor. She explains that a small boy at home is waiting, hungry, counting on her strength. This moment cracks the wall around his chest. Her fight is not for pride, but for family. Near evening, he adds one last task designed to end her resolve. She fails at first, skin torn, palms sore. After a breath, she tries again, slower, smarter, refusing to quit. The crowd falls quiet when he stops everything. He questions why she chose work over pleading. Her reply is simple and steady, saying effort gives meaning to every bite. Those words unlock a memory he buried long ago. A time when he too survived by grit before wealth erased his past. Shame washes over him. He makes a different choice. He offers education, shelter, care for her brother, and training for a future role. Witnesses stand stunned. As she leaves with hope in her eyes, Kenyiso speaks a truth that spreads fast, changing his company and his life, reminding the world that opportunity, not ability, is what many lack. The girl Zelothi Kunda doesn't ask for money. Her voice is low, almost shy, yet firm enough to be heard. She stands still while busy people rush past, holding herself with quiet respect. There is emptiness in her stomach, but pride in her posture. The man in front of her expects pleading or tears, yet she offers neither. That difference makes him pause. Instead of sending her away, the powerful man decides to test her. He speaks loudly, so everyone nearby can hear. Guards, office workers, and drivers slow down to watch. He tells her she can stay only if she completes difficult duties from morning until evening. There will be no reward unless everything is finished. The crowd reacts with smiles and whispers, certain she will quit quickly. Zelothi agrees without argument. Her day becomes heavy and long. She scrubs dirty corners, carries loads bigger than her arms, and sorts piles that never seem to end. Laughter follows her steps. Eyes judge her every move. Sweat soaks her clothes. Her legs shake, and her breathing grows hard, but she continues. Each time pain rises, she swallows it. Each time strength fades, she finds a reason to move again. She never looks back at the man who set the rules. During a short break, she speaks softly with another worker. She explains that someone small waits at home, counting hours, trusting her to return with something to eat. She is not fighting for herself alone. That truth reaches ears it was not meant for, and something shifts in the listener's chest. As the sun lowers, the man adds one last duty, far harder than the rest. It seems impossible. Zelothi tries and fails. Her hands sting, and her knees touch the ground. Silence spreads. Many expect tears now. Instead, she stands again. Slowly, carefully, she attempts once more. Blood mixes with dust, but her focus stays strong. The man stops everything. He asks why she chose effort instead of easy pity. Her answer is calm and clear, explaining that effort gives value to every meal. The words strike deep, waking memories he buried under success and power. In front of everyone, he changes the ending. He offers safety, learning, and a future for her and the child she protects. The crowd is stunned. As Zelothi leaves, full of hope, the man understands a lesson the world soon repeats. Many people are not weak, only unseen. Instead of chasing her away, Kenyiso gives her a harsh condition in front of staff and guards. One day of the hardest work, no pay, only food if she finishes. His voice is calm but cold, meant to cut hope into pieces. People nearby stop walking. Phones lower. Smiles appear on faces that already know how this will end. He believes struggle is a choice, and this challenge is his proof. The girl listens without shaking. She nods once, accepting rules designed to crush her spirit. The hours begin heavy. She is sent from place to place, pushed into tasks meant for adults twice her size. Floors stain her knees. Boxes bend her arms. Papers blur her eyes. Every step feels longer than the last. Some workers whisper jokes. Others stare with quiet doubt. Security follows her movements, waiting for failure. It never comes. Pain grows louder than noise around her. Her stomach burns, her back tightens, and her breath turns rough. Still she moves. When she slips, she rises. When strength fades, she pauses only long enough to continue. Pride keeps her upright. Hunger keeps her focused. She does not look for mercy. By midday, sweat has soaked her clothes. She rests near a wall, sharing soft words with someone kind enough to listen. She speaks about a small boy at home, waiting for her return. He trusts her promise. That thought carries her forward like a hand on her back. Unseen ears catch this truth, and a silent weight forms. As daylight weakens, another challenge arrives, far beyond fairness. Many expect the end now. She tries and falls short. Her skin breaks. Dust sticks. Silence spreads. Then she stands again. Slower this time. Smarter. Every movement measured. She refuses to let defeat decide her worth. The man who created the test finally steps closer. He watches her face, not broken, not angry, only determined. He asks why she did not choose easier paths. Her answer is quiet, saying effort gives meaning to survival. Those words unlock a memory he buried under success. The crowd holds its breath as the ending changes. What began as punishment turns into possibility. A future opens where none existed. As she walks away supported by hope, those watching learn something simple and sharp. Strength often waits where no one bothers to look. Employees laugh. Security watches closely. The sound around her feels sharp, yet she keeps her eyes on the ground and her hands busy. People passing by treat the moment like a show, waiting for her strength to disappear. Some point. Some whisper. A few shake their heads as if the ending is already written. Zealothy feels the weight of every stare, but she refuses to let it slow her pace. She moves from one task to another without rest. Dust coats her skin. Sweat drips down her face. Her arms ache as she lifts and moves items meant for stronger bodies. Inside the building, papers pile up endlessly, and she works through them with burning eyes. Each job is harder than the last, designed to push her past her limit. Still she continues step after step. Her body begins to protest. Legs shake. Breath shortens. Pain spreads through her back and shoulders. At one point, the ground feels closer than the sky, and her knees nearly give way. People lean forward, ready to witness the fall they expected from the start. For a brief second, the world spins. She steadies herself using the wall. No tears fall. No words leave her mouth. She straightens slowly, as if reminding herself why she started. Hunger twists inside her, but purpose stands taller. She remembers the small face waiting at home, trusting her to return with something more than empty hands. Hours pass like years. The laughter fades into silence. Even those meant to guard begin to watch with different eyes. What they see is not weakness but stubborn courage. She does not look around for approval. She does not ask for kindness. She gives everything she has, then finds a little more. When her hands tremble, she hides them. When her chest burns, she breathes through it. Every movement becomes an act of will. The crowd no longer mocks. Some look away ashamed. Others stand frozen, unsure what to think. By the time the sun starts to sink, Zealothy is still there. Tired, dirty, wounded, yet upright. Her silence speaks louder than any request. Without asking for mercy, she proves something rare in that place. Dignity does not shout. Strength does not beg. And respect is earned in moments when quitting feels easier than standing one more time. During lunch, the CEO secretly listens as Zealothy explains to a cleaner that her younger brother hasn't eaten in 2 days. She's not working for herself, but for him. The moment happens quietly, away from noise and eyes. Zealothy sits on the floor near the back entrance, holding a cup of water like it is something precious. Her voice is soft, careful, not meant to travel far. She speaks to the cleaner beside her, someone who offered a little kindness with a smile. She talks about home, about a small boy who keeps asking when food will come, about promises she keeps making because hope is the only thing she can give. She does not cry while speaking. Her face stays calm, almost gentle, as if pain has become familiar. She explains how she wakes early each day, searching for any chance to earn something honest. Not charity, not pity, just effort traded for survival. The cleaner listens without interrupting, hands paused mid-work, eyes slowly filling with understanding. A few steps away, hidden behind a pillar, the CEO stands still. He was not meant to hear this. He had planned to eat and leave, his mind already on meetings and profit. Instead, every word reaches him clearly. The hunger she mentioned earlier now feels real, no longer a story or excuse. It has a name. It has a face. It waits somewhere far from this tall building. Zealothy continues, explaining that her strength does not belong only to her. Every task she finishes carries another person's hope. Every step she takes is borrowed courage. She says she cannot afford to stop, because stopping means someone else sleeps empty again. Her words are simple, yet they land heavy. The CEO feels something tighten inside his chest. Memories surface that he thought money erased. Long nights, cold mornings, a time when survival depended on stubborn effort and silent endurance. He realizes she is not proving anything to him. She is fighting for someone who cannot fight for himself. When lunch ends, Zealothy stands and returns to work without knowing she was heard. The CEO remains still for a moment longer, watching her walk away. In that quiet space, his belief begins to crack. What he once called weakness now looks like devotion. What he dismissed as laziness now feels like sacrifice. And for the first time that day, his power feels small compared to her reason for standing. Near sunset, Kenyiso gives her an impossible task meant to break her. The light grows soft, shadows stretch long, and most people believe the day is over. Zealothy's body is already tired beyond comfort. Her arms feel heavy, her feet ache, and her breath comes slower than before. This new demand is far beyond the rest. It is designed to end her effort, to prove that everyone has a limit. People nearby exchange looks, sure this is where she finally stops. She begins anyway. Her hands move carefully, but the weight and strain fight back. Muscles scream. Balance slips. After a few moments, everything goes wrong. She loses control, stumbles, and drops to the ground. A sharp pain cuts through her palms. Dust sticks to broken skin. A quiet gasp moves through the crowd. Some turn away. Others nod, believing the test is finished. Zealothy stays still for a second. The ground feels cold. Her hands burn. Tears press against her eyes but do not fall. She looks at her injured fingers, then slowly closes them into fists. Somewhere far away, a small boy waits, trusting her promise. That thought pulls her upward. She stands again. This time, she changes how she moves. Slower. Smarter. Each step is careful. Each motion is planned. Blood marks her grip, yet she does not loosen it. Pain stays present, but fear does not. The watching crowd grows silent. Even the guards stop shifting their weight. Something serious is happening now. Her breathing is rough, but her focus is clear. She ignores the sting in her hands and the weakness in her legs. Every movement is a decision. Quit or continue. She chooses to continue. The task that once seemed impossible slowly begins to change shape. Not because it is easier, but because she refuses to let it win. Kenyiso watches closely. He expected anger. He expected tears. He expected defeat. Instead, he sees control, patience, and a kind of strength he does not understand. This is not stubborn pride. This is purpose. As the sun sinks lower, Zealothy completes what was meant to destroy her. She stands there, injured, exhausted, but unbroken. No cheers rise. No applause comes. Yet something far stronger fills the air. Respect. In that fading light, it becomes clear to everyone watching that real power does not shout. It endures. And sometimes, the strongest heart belongs to the one with the least to lose and the most to protect. Kenyiso stops everything. His raised hand freezes the space around them. Voices cut off. Movements pause mid-step. Even the air feels still. He looks at the girl standing before him, dirty, tired, and wounded, yet firm on her feet. This was not how the day was supposed to end. What began as a lesson has turned into something he cannot control. He steps closer, his eyes searching her face. There is no anger there. No demand. Only calm strength. He asks her why she chose effort when asking for mercy would have been easier. His tone is no longer sharp. It carries confusion, maybe even doubt. He has seen many people kneel before him, hands out, voices raised. This girl did the opposite. Zealothy lifts her head. Her hands tremble slightly, but her voice does not. She explains that taking without effort leaves the heart empty. She believes that what comes through struggle carries meaning. Work, even painful work, allows a person to stand tall. The simple truth in her words lands heavier than any speech. The crowd listens closely now. No one laughs. No one whispers. People feel something shift inside them. Guards lower their eyes. Workers stop pretending not to care. The silence grows deep. Kenyiso feels a memory rise from a place he locked away long ago. A time before respect, before power, before comfort. A time when he survived by refusing to bow. By choosing effort even when hunger screamed louder than pride. He thought he had buried that version of himself under success. Now it stands in front of him, wearing dust and pain. He realizes this girl did not come to test him. He tested himself without knowing. His belief about strength, about worth, about struggle begins to crack. He sees that dignity does not depend on wealth. It lives in choice. Zealothy waits quietly, not expecting reward. She has already given everything she has. Whether she receives food or nothing, she has kept her promise to herself. Kenyiso looks around at the people watching. He knows this moment will not fade. It will stay with him long after the building empties. He understands that leadership is not proven by power, but by how one responds when truth stands silently before them. In that still moment, a sentence spoken without pride becomes a lesson no one forgets. And the man who believed hunger was weakness finally learns that earned survival carries a strength money cannot buy. Those words hit a wound from Kenyiso's own past. A childhood he buried under money. Memories he thought were long gone rush back suddenly, sharp and cold. He remembers empty stomachs, worn shoes, and nights spent waiting for someone to notice his struggle. He recalls the fear of failing, the ache of being overlooked, the shame of needing more than he had. All those feelings, long hidden beneath wealth and power, rise again, uninvited and relentless. The office around him seems to shrink as that old vulnerability presses against his chest. For the first time in years, he feels ashamed. Not for someone else, not for the world, but for himself. For the walls he built, for the judgments he passed on people who needed help, for the belief that money alone made someone strong. He had convinced himself that hunger was weakness and poverty a choice, yet now he faces a living example of courage he cannot deny. A small, determined girl has reminded him of everything he thought he had escaped. His hands, used to commanding, feel empty. His voice, used to giving orders, feels heavy. He notices how loud the silence is around him. How every observer's gaze presses like weight on his shoulders. Zealothy stands before him, small but unbroken, exhausted but determined, showing a strength that he cannot purchase. The truth is undeniable. Courage is not about comfort, and dignity is not about money. He remembers how he once ran from his own need, hiding it behind a suit, behind success, behind walls and rules. And now, in the quiet of the late afternoon, he realizes how wrong he was to look down on those who struggle. The realization burns. Pride, the shield he built for decades, crumbles. For the first time, he sees the world through different eyes. Eyes that witness suffering, yes, but also relentless effort and quiet honor. A deep, unexpected respect grows inside him. He cannot ignore the courage that does not seek applause, the determination that continues even when it seems impossible. He understands, finally, that strength is often invisible to those who assume life is fair. And in that moment, something inside him shifts. A man who once thought he knew everything learns that humility, empathy, and opportunity matter more than wealth. The shame he feels is sharp, but it is also the beginning of change, a realization that will shape not only his actions but the way he will see and treat others forever. Instead of food, Kenyiso offers school, a home for her and her brother, and a job training program. The words hang in the air, heavier than any meal could ever be. Zealothy freezes, unsure if she heard correctly. Her heart pounds so loud she thinks it might give her away. The crowd around them, which had watched her struggle all day, falls completely silent. Faces that laughed earlier are now still, eyes wide with shock. People whisper softly, but no one interrupts. Even the guards, who normally move with authority, stand quietly, sensing the weight of what just happened. Kenyiso steps closer, looking at Zealothy not as a beggar or a challenge, but as someone deserving of opportunity. He explains carefully, speaking slowly, that her courage, determination, and care for her brother have shown him something he hadn't seen in years: true strength and honor. He wants her to have a chance to change her life, to learn, and to grow beyond the struggles that have defined her so far. Zealothy blinks, trying to process what is happening. A warm feeling spreads through her chest, one she has not felt in a long time. Relief, hope, and disbelief fight for space inside her. She glances at the small boy she has been protecting in her mind all day, imagining how this offer could change both their lives. For the first time in months, she allows herself to dream a little. The crowd watches silently, caught in the moment. Some people shake their heads, unable to believe what they are seeing. Others whisper to their neighbors, as if sharing a secret about courage being rewarded in the most unexpected way. Cameras in their minds capture every detail. The tired girl standing tall, the powerful man showing humility, and the quiet lesson spreading without words. Zealothy steps forward, her voice soft but steady. She thanks him, her eyes shining, not with pride but with gratitude. She knows this is more than food or temporary relief. This is a life being offered. A chance to grow, to learn, to secure a future for herself and her brother. Kenyiso smiles faintly, feeling a warmth he hasn't known in years. Around them, the office begins to buzz again, but something has changed. The lesson is clear: courage, persistence, and heart can open doors no one thought possible. The day that began with tests and challenges ends with opportunity and hope, leaving everyone who witnessed it inspired, thinking about what it truly means to help someone rise. As Zealothy walks away fed and hopeful, Kenyiso says, "The poor don't lack strength, they lack chances." His voice carries across the courtyard, clear and firm. People stop what they are doing, looking at him with surprise. Workers pause mid-step. Guards freeze. The words are simple, but their meaning hits deeply. It is not just a lesson for Zealothy, but for everyone who has ever judged someone by what they have, not what they can do. Zealothy glances back, her eyes wide, a small smile breaking across her face. She never expected acknowledgement, let alone understanding from someone so powerful. For the first time in her life, she feels that her effort, her endurance, and her honesty are seen and valued. The boy she cares for, who waits at home, will soon have more than just food. He will have hope. People in the crowd begin to murmur. Phones are lifted as the scene spreads faster than anyone anticipated. Some record the moment, some repeat the words to others, and the phrase begins to travel beyond the office walls. In the corridors, in nearby streets, even outside the city, whispers turn into stories. By the next day, the lesson is everywhere. Courage combined with opportunity can create change. Kenyiso watches Zealothy leave, feeling something shift inside him. He remembers his past struggles, the times he had no help, no guidance. The shame he felt earlier is replaced by determination. He vows to treat his company differently, to look at people not just as employees, but as humans with potential waiting for a chance. The lesson she gave him, unknowingly, becomes the new foundation of his leadership. Inside the office, employees talk quietly, sharing the story. Some are inspired, some reconsider their assumptions about others, and some promise themselves they will help where they can. Kenyiso himself begins to change policies, creating opportunities for those who are willing to work hard, no matter their background. What started as a single encounter grows into a ripple effect, touching lives far beyond the walls of the corporate tower. Zealothy disappears down the street, carrying more than food in her hands. She carries dignity, hope, and a future she never imagined. The moment Kenyiso spoke those words is remembered and shared again and again, a simple truth that resonates with everyone who hears it. Real strength is in the heart, and real opportunity can change everything. The company, its employees, and the world around them are never the same again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed Zealothy's inspiring story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing African tales. Stay tuned for the next story.